Hi everybody, welcome back to Lights, Camera, Conversation. Today I'm joined by Lottie Wiltshire.
Hello.
And I'm Steph Taylor. And today we're talking about New Year's resolutions. Have you set them? Are you going to set them? It's not too late.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year.
So, New Year's resolutions. I don't know, what are your thoughts on New Year's resolutions? It's a very sort of hit and miss with quite a lot of people, isn't it? In terms of, do you set goals like midway through the year and just get on with them? Or do you think, right, I'm going to wait to the new year until I'm ready and then set your resolution and start the new year off with a bang? What do you do?
I think a bit of planning is good.
Yeah.
A bit of planning. You've got to have a bit of thought to it because often it stems from the year that's been.
Yeah.
You know, you start thinking about some of the bad habits and, okay, actually, I want to change some of those bad habits and turn them into some good habits. And that's what becomes your resolution.
So go on then. What bad habits have you got?
Oh, too many.
What do you want to change? What do you want to change this year? Like, okay, so let's go on a professional level first. So professionally, what's your professional goal, or what have you set for yourself this year? What do you want to do, achieve?
So many things. And I think that's the problem with me is I probably set too many things. So I want, the goals that I set to be achievable and I want to be able to succeed in them. And it's funny because I was reading Stephen Bartlett. He did a podcast on New Year's resolutions, and he said that those that set a New Year's resolution are more likely to succeed in their goal compared to somebody that was setting a goal at a different time of the year.
That's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the more optimistic side of goal setting for New Year's resolutions.
So what was it about the new year then? Did he think, was it just because you sort of tied into, I've started this now from January 1st, so I've got to kind of continue?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, of course, there's some rules behind trying to achieve it.
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure the right cues are in place and, forming a habit, isn't it? So, yes, of course, there can be, monetary goals. I want to go to Disneyland, and you've got to work out how much you've got to save per month.
Yeah.
And you've also got your personal goals, haven't you? So what do you want to achieve, in your life? It could be health goals. That's the typical New Year's resolution, isn't it? I'm going to lose a stone by
dry January and all that. There's a few of those, aren't there? Have you done dry January?
I couldn't do that.
No,
that's not
you
me.
Couldn't.
January's depressing enough.
You couldn't. You couldn't not drink for a month.
No, could
really?
You?
Yeah, I think I probably could.
Really?
Yeah. She doesn't. She doesn't believe me. She's like, no. I think I could. I think I definitely could do that.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll set a challenge. Not in January, though, because it's my wife's 40th birthday and I will probably be drinking at that party, let's face it. But maybe February is the shortest month, so strategically that could be a good one. All right, well, look, we'll consider that. Maybe we do it as a team thing, so everyone in the office does
and helps each other.
Dry February. I don't know. I think that's easily achievable. Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay, I see how that's going. But
you see, for me, that would just be a stretch too far. And I think that's when you think about your goals and think, well, actually, how willing am I to give that up?
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's what is your intrinsic motivation to want to give something up or replace it with a good habit? And I think if there isn't enough of an intrinsic motivation, a real desire and will to want to change or give something up, you're not going to succeed, are you?
I totally get you on that, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. That's why I'm interested about what Stephen Bartlett said in his piece about more people sticking to it in January, because I think personally for me, if I was ready and wanted to set a goal to go about achieving something, I'd make it a decision and be like, right, now is the time. I'm going to do it now. I'm not going to wait until New Year. It's like with the weight loss that I've been looking at this last year, I was it got to the summer and I got to that point where I was like, right, enough now. I want to make a change, and you put it in there. I'm not going to be like, I'll just wait until the 1st of Jan and put on a load of weight over Christmas to pile on more pounds, and then off you go. It's kind of like you get to that point where you're ready. You've set a goal and you're thinking, right, I'm ready to do this now. Yeah. So that's why I think New Year's resolutions are sort of, they're good and bad. I think for people, when they set them, when they're not actually ready to do that, they go, right, I'm going to,
They feel forced into it because it's January.
Because it's New Year. And then, of course, they don't stick to them because they're not actually ready. They haven't put enough time and effort and motivation and put too much value to that goal to actually then want to make that happen.
Yes.
So, but I don't think the New Year is a bad time to just sort of take stock, because actually what it does is, I think the beginning of January and having that kind of resolution, so I think it does make you sit down and take stock of your life, your business, your career, whatever it is, in terms of where, there's another year coming up. Like, it's checking in with yourself, isn't it, about, am I on track in my life? Am I moving myself forward in a way that's productive towards what it is that you want to kind of ultimately achieve? Because some things can't be achieved in a year, can they? It's kind of like, 3, 4, 5 year plan, depending on what it is that you're looking to do. So
yeah, it's quite interesting though, because it's when it comes to setting a New Year's resolution that you look back at the last year, don't you? And you go, okay, what have I achieved in the last year? And it's almost coming to New Year where you say, has it been a good year? Has it been a challenging year? What have I learnt? But it's almost like, why don't we do that, throughout the year?
Yeah.
It's almost like the end of the year, it's a pivotal moment, isn't it, of reflection. But actually, if we did that sort of more on a regular basis, would we be more likely to set goals throughout the year as opposed to, just defining it to January? Like you say, for you, it was summertime.
Yeah.
It was that turning point of, right, I'm setting some new goals for myself, but it's not New Year. And this is where they talk about how long it takes to make or break a habit, isn't it? So,
have you read the Habit book yet?
Yes, parts of it.
Okay.
Parts of it.
I gave her a book when she started here. I'm ready yet. 4 months in now, so
I'm getting there. There's a few books to get through at the minute, but they talk about the habit loop, of course, don't they?
They do, yeah.
If you follow, the cue and, the motivation, the reward has got to be there. But it's generally 60 to 90 days to form a new habit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is quite a length of time when you think about it.
It is,
and
yeah.
it just takes something to send you a bit off kilter, illness, if it's an exercise goal, or you go on holiday and then you think, oh, what the heck, it's all inclusive. I can eat what I want, which tends to be the case for me. So it's quite interesting. You do have to be quite disciplined with it. But I think the cue is so important, isn't it? It's like going for a run. You go, no, I'm going to put my trainers near the door, and that's the cue, and I won't forget then. Or I'm going to put a reminder in my phone. And Stephen Bartlett talks about asking the question, one question of, am I going to the gym today? Yes or no? And it's just no faff.
But again, it's interesting asking the question, because what I've done, I just diarise it. So I don't ask myself the question. I'll just look at the phone and go, oh, it's gym day now. Oh, it's time to go out on a run now, and it's dark and it's wet.
So
and
it's your phone bossing you about, basically.
Yeah, kind of. But that's me having obviously set that previously. And what I've done is I've completely removed the option of choice. So it doesn't become an active choice anymore. Am I going to do this or not? Do I feel like it tonight or not? I'm not saying I've got it all locked down, but this is been a steady path over sort of 6 months. So I'm sort of well within my habit now, but it's trying to, make sure I maintain it and keep it and think, I literally thought the other day, I was like, I can't lose this now. Yes. I need to keep where the headspace around this habit of where I'm at. So it is interesting because, as you say, you could have illness, you could have, if it is fitness related, you can get injuries that obviously set you back, but it's just trying to sort of remember what your goal was for yourself. And when you do start making that progression over time and you see the progressions, that is obviously that motivation to be like, yes, this is what I want to do. And obviously it keeps kind of pushing you forward, which is good. So
you're quite a disciplined person though, aren't you? And I think
sometimes.
You are. I think you are quite a motivated, you're a self-motivated person. And, you know, being a managing director of Shop Last, you know, I think, you know, we're talking here about more about personal goals, but thinking about business goals as well. And I think because you've, you know, being, you know, managing director for 10 plus years, every year you will have goals, business related. So you know what it takes to achieve and succeed in business, and that it does translate to your personal life as well, doesn't it?
But I think it's also vice versa. So I've always found with me, if I can get in a good routine personally, in terms of if I'm exercising well, then I'm on top of what I'm eating. On top of what I'm eating, then that kind of links through to the kind of task management of how you're managing your day. You know, you're very much coming from a place of motivation and having more of that structure and discipline. Yeah, obviously you've got to allow for life. You've got to allow for spontaneity. You're not going to sort of go out for a meal and, you know, have a few little bits. You know, if you're going out for dinner, or if you know, someone's cooked for you, you're going to someone's house, you're going to eat the meal. It's, you know, you're not going to not do those things. But it's just having some structure around it. And I think if you can do it personally and get that right personally, I've found for me, then that always translates professionally into what I'm doing.
Yes.
So I find that my week runs better, or, you know, you're more disciplined with meetings or things like, you know, as we talk about a lot of the time with sales and like managing pipeline and, you know, what you're getting your next steps booked in and all of those things. It's all in a rhythm. Yeah. So if you've got the kind of rhythm and down at home and what you're doing outside of work, that's kind of feeding your body, feeding your mind, then you can kind of bring your best self to work to then work on, you know, your work goals ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely. It's working on the whole person, isn't it? And we digress from the question that you asked me about my goals. And my goals, obviously being in a sales role, you are naturally, you know, you are setting yourself goals periodically, aren't we? You know, quarterly, we're reviewing, you know, where we're at from a sales and development perspective. So there's no doubt about it. That's, you know, that's the main focus, is to look at how we can spread awareness of what we do, spread, you know, it's really brand promotion, but really to, you know, help companies, you know, that's my goal, is to, how can we help businesses to, you know, stay ahead of the competition. You know, it's been tough times, hasn't it? It's been unprecedented times. You know, there's a lot of businesses that have had challenges. So we're coming out the other side now, aren't we? As, you know, in the UK particularly, avoiding a recession. And so companies are looking at, okay, how can I take my business to the next level? And so for me, it's, how much activity can I put out there to help spread awareness of what we're doing and the cause that, you know, that we're on to support in that direction. So, of course, naturally there's business goals, but also I have personal goals. And for me, I don't necessarily want to set like metrics. I don't necessarily want to say I want to lose half a stone, or I want to earn this amount or save this amount. For me, it's more of a lifestyle change. You know, I want to, you know, my son's 5 now, so I want to live a more active life, you know, on a weekend particularly. You know, go and visit places in the UK that I haven't visited before. Go camping, which I'm not really a camper, but
I've got a load of camping stuff. You can probably just have it, because there's no way I'm taking 3 kids camping. Maybe in the garden.
Oh yes, maybe I could try it in the garden.
Do the garden first. Yeah, a little test.
Oh dear, I'll probably regret this, but yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, I need to plan for this. You know, we need walking boots, you know, we need some equipment, but not necessarily buying everything brand new. We could do some secondhand stuff just to try it out. But for me, I just think there's so much satisfaction in just getting outdoors in the fresh air.
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, and just being together as a family, because the conversations that you have when you're out walking as well, it's nice. So.
Yeah, no, that's a nice goal. I like that. I like that. I think that's a good goal to have. Anything that is active, with your kids and getting outside, I think all of that is, is just teaching them about, keep having an active lifestyle, which I think is really, really important, certainly now more than it used to be, because, as we know, the landscape has changed a lot with sort of available foods out there and drinks and all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot of, you almost need even more discipline now because stuff is so readily available. So I think, if you can teach your kids that, keeping yourself healthy, keeping yourself active, and that's an important thing to have for your own life goal, then that's good.
Yeah, definitely. So thinking back, reflecting on the year that's been,
yeah,
for you as a company, in the business, you as managing director, there's a lot of fantastic things that have happened in the past year.
Yeah, we've had a big year. I mean, I think the start of it was moving here to this office. That was sort of just over a year ago. And then Byron joined us on a sort of full-time capacity, sort of editing and, camera work and, growing the subscription side. You've obviously joined us in the last 4 months on the sales and business development side. So yeah, I think, it's a nice new chapter really in terms of, just looking at where we can go as a business and, and grow as a company, where we can maybe look at, utilizing newer technology. So, Byron's sort of, he's doing a lot more of the drone in-house, whereas we were outsourcing that previously, but he's gone and got qualified. So that's, worked really well. And combining that kind of technology with 3D animation, we've had quite a lot of projects in that sort of area. I'd like us to maybe do more in the sort of VR space, the sort of virtual reality space. I think there's a lot of new opportunities now where technology is it's much cheaper, it's much more affordable for companies and organizations to look at a VR project than it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And, particularly we do a lot of work within the sort of health and safety side, as you know. So, that kind of medium works really well for that kind of training, certainly on a kind of training and learning development and, using that technology where, ultimately maybe some of these environments are very hazardous or spaces that you could go into, it could, potentially put in some quite like life-saving kind of rules type media in there. So I think there's an awful lot of opportunity. I mean, I think ultimately this year for me is really about growing the business. It's growing the team. It's growing the subscription side where we're offering video content on a more, monthly, quarterly, regular basis for our clients. That's been a newer area for us that we've trialed in the last year, and that's sort of picking up pace. So it'll be nice to kind of move that forward and, look at new opportunities with some local clients on that side and, ultimately grow the team. Because I think, I don't know, I just feel really lucky. I kind of, you reflect back on the year gone and you kind of like, right, I feel like we're really starting this new year with we've got a great premises, we've got a great team, we've got a great offering. It's just going out there and getting on with it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm here for.
That's it. So, I just think this year is going to be a really, good year. And it's obviously our financial year always tracks from sort of, beginning of April to the end of March. So you kind of start the new year, but it's actually our last, financial quarter of our financial year. So there's always sort of a little bit of taking stock there and then thinking, right, what are the true business goals, which I tend to set more at the beginning of kind of April time. So there'll be a little bit of that to come in a few months. But yeah, I'm excited. I think there's a lot to look forward to. I think, it's an ever-changing landscape. Video production's ever-changing. Technology, we've got all the AI that's coming in. There's a lot of things changing up and, the wider environment and landscape as well, with businesses and, there's always the kind of recession-y, economic stuff in the background that you've always got to kind of think about. But I think you've just got to ultimately kind of focus on, your own trajectory and kind of where you're going really and build a plan around that.
Sounds good.
And just keep keep buggering on, as Winston Churchill would say, you know? So, yeah.
Love that. And we spoke the other day in the office about a team goal as well. So, because we're trying to do a bit more, charitable work, aren't we? So we had the Macmillan Coffee Morning, which was great fun. And we talked about, I don't know, why don't we set ourselves a bit of a goal as a team and go do like you talked about 3 peaks.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like Tough Mudder, which is quite a challenge. But actually 3 peaks would be a real milestone, wouldn't it? It would be a great.
What do you think was harder? See, I think the 3 peaks would be easier than Tough Mudder. Do you not?
Maybe.
I was like, maybe we go with an easier goal, something big but slightly easier that we can all achieve. I don't know. Running in the mud. I feel like it's not going to bring out the best side of my personality, but you never know. We'll see.
No, I like the sound of the 3 peaks. You're right. That does.
Or anything. I think it's going back to that active thing. I think, if we can do something as a team that's going to push us as a team where, you've got to kind of, work together and, put yourself in difficult situations to see how you kind of work a little bit, under pressure. I think those things are good because they pushes us all, don't they, as human beings and within our personalities, and at the end of the day you just want to kind of come away with the best outcomes really, but it's a journey and it's a process, so you've got to kind of get over those obstacles and hurdles, and that's character building, which is good. Love that. So stay tuned. We'll see. We'll have to have a chat with the team and come up with a plan. And maybe put we could pick one out of a hat. Maybe we could put in lots of different suggestions. I think Byron really wants to do a skydive, but I think that's just a personal goal really for him. I can't really see that. It's not a massive team exercise, is it? Just jumping out of a plane strapped to someone else, hoping that your first parachute opens, your second parachute opens, your reserve parachute opens. I mean, it's feels a bit risky, but I don't know.
I'll be down at the bottom cheering you on. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I do have a real fear when it comes to, flying, roller coasters, and
heights.
So many people. Heights, not so much. No. And that's the bizarre thing.
Yeah, in a little plane. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
But I think it's a control thing with me. And I've had people say to me, do you want to try conquer your fear? Is that a New Year's resolution?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Conquering a fear. It's like people have fear of spiders.
Well, maybe we should go to Alton Towers then. Let's see if you can conquer your fear of roller coasters.
Nemesis. You don't like the Nemesis, though, do you?
It's Oblivion, I think.
Oh, it's Oblivion. That's it. Yeah.
Straight drops. Not really for me. But, I could go on it. You'd have to go on it as well, though.
Got GoPro on your head.
That's it. It's, But I don't know. I think conquering fears is a tricky one, isn't it? Because it's pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, and we all, certainly within work and within personal circumstances as well. Sometimes we find ourselves in these situations where you're thinking, oh, I really don't want to do this, or a lot of people they don't like public speaking, or whatever it may be, or going to like big parties on a personal level. They're just not, it's not really their thing. But ultimately, I think it is good if you can, from time to time, put yourself in those uncomfortable positions, because ultimately you learn from them, don't you? And you grow, and life really is about progression. Yes. It's about growth. This program that I keep watching at the moment, I keep telling everyone to watch, the Life on Planet Earth on Netflix. It's literally kind of blowing my mind, but it's all about the evolution of the Earth, and it is like life and how life has all kind of progressed. Everything is about progression. So I think, if you think about the life cycle of things, it's the same with us. You're here for a limited amount of time. You've got to look at how you're going to, not just better yourself, it is better everyone else around you and your wider community, but also in yourself grow as a person. So, that's conquering fears.
It's time, isn't it? But once you've achieved it, you feel like such gratification, because the hard work and the perseverance that you've had to, to put yourself through to get there. But but again, it comes back to that intrinsic motivation of how willing you are to want to conquer that fear and make that change.
Yeah, it all leads back to that. Is it big enough to do something about? And actually, is it okay as well? Like, you know, it's okay, isn't it? Like some people hate spiders, some people hate, heights, some people don't like roller coasters. It's kind of like, you can't be good at everything, like everything, and be a perfect person. We've got to have things that actually, is this, I mean, like if you're going back to say scared of flying, that one's quite a big one, because I never used to like flying really. It was due to a past experience I actually had on the flight, and that was what triggered me to sort of have a period of time where I really wasn't happy with flying. But I kind of made a conscious decision to sort of say, well, if I let a fear like that take over my life, it is going to limit my life, because I'll never be able to kind of travel. So I think it's back to those things. It's having motivation to do it. Is the motivator big enough? Is it all right to be scared of spiders? Yeah, because is it going to ruin your life? No.
Yeah.
So it's some things you can just let be, can't you? And other things, it's when in the back of your mind, you're like, I need to be able to do this. Like, I should be able to do this. And that's where I think you then got to take that step, push yourself outside your comfort zone, and
it's how
try and do something about it. Yeah.
Like flying, for me, I've got better over the years, but I have triggers. Yeah. And that sets my anxiety off, but I have to then manage that and go, it's okay, this is just fight or flight.
Yeah.
It's just the engine making some
Quite
extra noises or turbulence, and the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my god, we're going to crash, or the engine's going to blow out and we're going to drop down from the sky. And I have all these crazy thoughts that run through my head.
Don't watch Final Destination. That film is no good for you.
No,
if you don't like
watch, that's probably where the fear comes from, that film.
Do you get on the plane and do the seat test and pull the
I do the window thing. Is that going up and down? Is it all fixed in properly? And I do a little bit of a check. I check the air stewardesses as well,
right, to see if they seem calm.
Are they calm? Are they happy? And I do a little check around. I see where the exits are, and so I do have this.
She's prepared.
Yeah, just a control freak, basically.
That's all right. On some levels, it's all good. So okay, so for this next year, then, what are you go on then? Put a stake in the ground and say, right, this is what I'm gonna try and do.
No pressure. Well, I would like to think that we can bring at least 3 subscriptions a month.
Nice. Okay. Business goal.
New companies on board every month. That's the aim, isn't it? That's the big, hairy, audacious goal.
That's good.
Month. That's what we want to aim for, and we will absolutely do that.
And personally, then?
Personally, to have more quality family time on a weekend, but dedicated time. I'm not just talking about, watching TV in the living room where you don't talk. You're talking about, right, we're going out for 2 hours and we're going to go for a walk. Yeah. Even if it's somewhere local, and even if it's raining, we're getting out, we're going for a walk. Yeah. So, that's for me really, really important. But what about you?
I think this year for me personally is trying to be a continuation of what I've started this last year, which is the sort of the health and fitness side. I really, really want to kind of keep that going, because I think for me that's the route to everything else. Yeah. So if I can keep that going and keep building on that, for me, I just feel like other stuff will just naturally sort of slot into place. And, ultimately on a work level, bringing in new clients on a subscription, increasing our turnover, increasing our team. It'd be nice to get a couple of new team members in to join our team this year. So if you are in the video production sector, stay tuned, because we'll have some jobs I admit at some point will come up at some point in the not too distant future. So I think I'm excited. I think this is going to be a good year, and I think there's lots to look forward to.
Remaining positive.
This is it. So, get in touch. Let us know what your New Year's resolutions are, if you have any, if you keep them, if you like them, if you don't like them. And, stay tuned for another episode of Lights, Camera, Conversation.
Bye.
Bye.